Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Ketan. I call myself that day-to-day guy, and the reason behind that name is just because I'm a normal day-to-day guy going through this, I don't want to use the word struggle, but the struggle of life, and here to share some of my experiences with how I tackle it. I know that everyone has different experiences in life, and I know that some of the experiences I have are not experiences unique to myself, so I just want to share my perspective and hopefully it makes a positive impact on somebody else. So that's the reason I'm here on YouTube. Maybe that's the reason I'm here in life, I don't know, but topic of the video, making a difference. And I think, I've been doing this every week for, well, I say not for a year, but since February, March time, and sometimes I think to myself, I'm going to run out of content, but also content I've done before can be spoken about in different ways, and different things have happened since content has been done. So, here we go. I can't remember the exact title of the last video, but making a difference. Let's talk about that. Anyone that knows me will know that I'm a bit of a, I don't want to use the word flashy git, phrase rather, but, relatively nice car. I like watches. I live in an above average house. But these things are all for me. These things impact my life. And that's great. However, when I die, when you die, when anyone dies, no one remembers, oh, that's the person that did this, that's the person that had this, or that rather. People remember people because of the way they made them feel and the impact they had on them. So when I die, I don't want to be remembered for the stuff that had a positive impact on me. I want to be remembered for the people who I helped in their life. And because of that, I don't want to say a lot of charity work. That's the kind of cliche phrase to use, but I like to do anything that's going to make a positive impact to my community. And even that sounds cheesy, but it just makes me feel better about my life. And that's not how it started. I was at a point where I was a bit depressed about life. Let's face it, we've all been there, and we're all there sometimes. That never completely goes away, because life is, half up and half down, and that's just the way that it is, and I accept that's the way that it is. But what makes the downs more tolerable is when you have the feeling of being useful to society. So I started to do some volunteering work, and I went down this rabbit hole of that, and it got me into volunteering at the Old People's Day Centre, and then that got me more involved in my local community. And I'm a bit of a busybody in Windsor. I'm not ashamed to admit it, but yeah, I'm just always trying to help people out where I can, because obviously I live on my own, so I don't get my feeling of usefulness from being a spouse, being a dad, and all that good stuff. I get it from being helpful to my community. So the point is, doing that when I'm in a down period, and speaking of down period, this year hasn't been great work-wise. This year, we've had a bit of a quiet year, but we're now coming up into our busy period. So even though it'll be a quiet year, the busy period, and we're still here, so like head above water and all that malarkey. But one of the biggest things that helped me mentally is that I'm able to make a positive impact, and I get feedback, if you will, from the people who I help, and that gives me a purpose for being useful in society, and kind of spurs me on to doing that more. And I know the better headspace I'm in, the better impact it's going to have on, excuse me. Oh, that's never happened before. The better impact it's going to have on my life. So I invite you to, in whatever, shape or form, do something that goes beyond you, that's something that doesn't impact, doesn't like financially impact or make a difference to your day-to-day life, day-to-day. But it makes a big difference to somebody else. I put a post out on a local Facebook group the other day just talking about why I do what I do, because some people are really suspicious about why that guy's so helpful. And I do it because, as a man, we get our kind of usefulness from either being a spouse, a husband, a father, and when you are in that situation, you're useful to the people in your household. However, I live on my own, so I don't get that feeling. Yeah, I get, the feeling of being useful to my family to an extent. I have an impact on my brother's kids, and my brother and his wife are really lovely in how they let me interact and play a part in their kids' lives, who I absolutely love. But day to day, I live on my own, and sometimes when I'm I was going to break into song there. When I'm not feeling so well, not like being ill or having the flu or anything, but just kind of a bit lonely or down about life or whatever, I realize that I need to be in peak condition for the work that I do in the community. And the work that I do in the community then always puts into perspective the size of my own problems. Yeah, we all have problems, and the problems to us, our first world problems, our problems, whatever they are, nevertheless, they're still problems to us. But sometimes doing things for other people that makes no difference to your life, is massively helpful to your mental well-being. And I don't know whether this is going to, really land with younger people, because this has only kind of come about in my life after 40. But I think to myself, man, if I thought this way earlier in my life, I think I just would have had a more enriched, better life. I said better. Better's not the right word to use, because, I've had a good life, and I'm talking like I'm going to die soon, but the reality is for the next, 20, 30 years, I want to do stuff that goes beyond me, and I want to make a positive impact on my community and the people around me. Because when I die, I don't want to be remembered for the stuff that I've got. I want to be remembered for the lives who have made an impact on, as cheesy as that sounds. So I invite you to get out there and do something, and choose something, even a neighbor, even just helping an elderly neighbor or something, or an able neighbor, just with anything. The feeling you get from helping somebody, it sounds really cheesy, doesn't it? And as I'm saying this, I think to myself, man, I gotta, the feeling you get from helping somebody is, and you do it repeatedly, it's there's no such thing as a selfless act, but just doing that is going to massively... I'm rambling now. I just realised I'm rambling. But anyway, you get the point, right? You get the point. Find something, find someone, help them, and just perpetuate that in your life. Start doing that more, and good things will happen. Trust me, good things will happen. I want to leave it there. Next week we'll go back to some other stuff. My car should be arriving this week, so I'll maybe do a video on that next week. But what do you think? What do you do? Give me an example. Put a comment down below or something. I don't know. This only kind of reaches generally people I know. If you're a stranger, hello. And yeah, I think I'm done. So thank you for watching, as always, and genuinely thank you for watching, because if you got this far, you've watched this whole thing, you've taken time out of your day, and I really appreciate that. Because time is valuable, and I put time into doing this because I just want to get out there and, as the video suggests, make a difference. So yeah, thank you for being here, and ciao for now. We'll see you next week.